I walked in on a Friday evening, bone-tired from a long week, but glad to be home. Julia stood by the hallway mirror, dressed up more than usual. Tall heels, a short black dress, and makeup done with obvious care. I raised an eyebrow and asked where she was headed. She hesitated for a beat, then softened into a casual smile. Just out for the night. A friend needs me, she said, but her eyes flicked away. Something in me tightened. Lately her girls' nights had multiplied. Her phone never left her hand, and a new perfume trailed her like a question. I decided I wasn't going to ignore it this time. I watched her as she did the small, nervous things people do when they hide something, shifting her weight from foot to foot, avoiding my gaze, tapping a rhythm with her fingers. I recognized that furtive look. I'd seen it before when she fibbed about trivial things, but this felt larger. Calmly, I told her, "Before you go, there's something I want you to see." Her smile faltered and color left her face. "What do you mean?" she asked, voice thin. I pulled my phone out and opened the photo album I'd been building for a week. The images weren't flattering. Julia at a downtown restaurant the previous Saturday, wearing the same floral dress I remembered, sitting opposite a man who wasn't a friend. They showed her laughing, leaning in, touching his arm, the kind of closeness that meant more than companionship. My cousin had been there by chance, taken the photos, and warned me to wait until I was ready to confront her. I'd chosen tonight. I handed the phone across the table. Her fingers shook as she scrolled. Her breath hitched when the pictures settled on the screen. I asked quietly where she was really going that night. Another moving job or dinner with him. The apartment filled with an awful silence, punctuated only by the sound of her breathing. She clutched her purse like a child caught sneaking out. Julia tried to explain, forcing out a nervous laugh. "It's not what it looks like," she began, but I cut her off. "Don't," I said, firm. "Don't insult my intelligence. You've lied enough." For a moment, the confident woman who'd been ready to dash out the door looked defenseless, stripped of composure. She opened her mouth again, but I stopped her with a look. "Tonight, you're not going anywhere." I reached into a drawer and took out a folder I put together over the last days. Bank statements, printed messages I'd recovered, and a draft of separation agreement my lawyer had prepared. When I set it on the table, her reaction was visible, a sharp, involuntary gasp. "You already knew," she whispered. I nodded. "Enough to act," I answered. The reality of what she'd done hit her harder than any rebuke could. Tears welled up, and she slumped into the couch, her purse dropping to the floor. "Please, it was a mistake," she pleaded. "It meant nothing." Her voice trembled with desperation, but I'd heard the excuses before. I leaned forward, my tone cold and measured. "Maybe it meant nothing to him," I said, "but you meant everything to me, and you threw that away for a moment of selfishness." She began to sob, covering her face, but I didn't soften. The damage was done. Apologies wouldn't stitch it back together. I walked to the door she'd been so eager to leave through and opened it. "If you want to go tonight, go," I told her, "but you're not coming back here." She looked stunned. She'd expected anger, perhaps, but not this quiet finality. I tapped the folder on the table. "Those papers go to the lawyer on Monday. My savings, the house, my future, they're protected. You'll take nothing but your regret." As she gathered her things, her sobs rising, I felt a strange calm settle over me. The knot of suspicion and dread that followed me for weeks eased into a clarity I hadn't felt in a long time. Julia had already chosen the life she wanted. Tonight, I was delivering the consequence of that choice. She passed me without a word. Her eyes were swollen and empty of the manipulative ease she used to have. The door closed behind her with a weight that felt like the end of a chapter. Sitting alone in the quiet house, I didn't feel broken. I felt liberated. For years, she had managed to split herself between us and some hidden life. Now the facade had collapsed and truth stood in the doorway. The sting of betrayal was raw, but beneath it grew something startling. Relief at no longer living inside uncertainty. Instead of begging or bargaining, she had left, and I watched her go. Betrayal, I realized, is often less about a single act and more about the choices that lead to it. The decision to risk what you have when you think no one will ever find out. I had found out. Rather than grovel or forgive out habit, I chose to protect myself. The night stretched on around me, quiet and empty, and for the first time in years I felt the room belonged only to me. I wasn't shackled by her secrets anymore. I was free to start again,